Welcome to Should You Idle, a series where I play all of the top idle games so you don't have to. In this series, I provide a comprehensive breakdown of the chosen idle game to hopefully answer the question, is idling this game worth your time? Our ranking criteria for all of the games reviewed on this series are as follows. Idle level is the first indicator, and it's used to identify how idle the game really is. Measuring a game's idleability is complex, but it will be broken down into simpler terms later in the video. If you want to know more in depth on how this is measured, please feel free to click the card on screen now. Content level, as you could assume, demonstrates how much content there is to explore in the game. How often is the game being updated? What's the level of endgame? Why should you continue to play? All of these questions will hopefully be answered within the content level segment of this video. Cash level is a general indicator of how much money you need to purchase the game. A lot of these idle games are free to play, so if it's a free game, cash level indicates how microtransactions are promoted and if purchases are used as pay-to-win boosters. Hardware level. This is just used as a quick overview on how taxing the program is. When the game is running at full capacity, how much does it affect your device? You'll find that out in this segment. Idle Research is an indie idle game created by Cryptogrounds, who's not only a game developer, but has a moderately sized YouTube channel. The game and Cryptogrounds links are available in the description if you're curious in checking them out throughout this video. Idle Research is a resource management incremental game with both idle and active playstyles. Research and craft colorful flasks and tubes to earn as much energy as possible while unlocking new content and brand new game modes. This idle game is in early development and released on Steam less than 1 month ago from the creation of this video. Because this game is relatively new, it could look and feel drastically different from the time you're watching this video to the time you're actually playing it. This idle game follows the classic idle experience, consistent and constant automated gameplay where manual interaction is only necessary if you wish to improve efficiency. This game also boasts multiple different game modes that are separate within the same client. These game modes are wildly different and offer fresh new content to explore. Before we get started with the official breakdown, last time I got some feedback on touching on the features of the idle game first, so we'll do that now before we start. Free to play. This game is currently in early access, but is completely free to play. Offline progression. This game does have an offline progression system, however, some features are disabled in it. Online/multiplayer. There is no online or multiplayer as of yet. This includes no clans, guilds, or leaderboards with your Steam friends. Cloud saving. There is cloud saving, however at this time it's done through a third party I believe and not actually Steam Cloud. You have to make an account and have your information saved if you wish to play across multiple devices. Inspired endgame. This game does have an inspired endgame, meaning the endgame has new content to explore and it's not just the same thing over and over again. Does it have an end? At the time of making this video, this game does have an end. You can effectively beat everything and unlock everything. It's going to take a long time, but it is possible to achieve every unlockable. True automation. Is there a stage in this game where you just need to have it open to progress? Yes. There is a level of endgame that you can achieve where you literally have to do nothing to progress. You can choose to interact if you wish, however, there's no need to. Unique playstyles. This game for the most part does not have unique ways to play. Generally, the experience is probably 90 to 95% the same for all players. You can't really specialize in anything that would set your adventure apart from a friend, or at least at the time of creating this video, there's no skill tree or diverse progression system. These are simply yes and no's to the most common sought after idle game features. This doesn't make the game good or bad, in fact you might prefer a game that has less features and is easier to understand. This is just an unbiased breakdown for you to gauge your interest and is not an opinion piece at all unlike the rest of this video. With that being said, let's move on to my personal breakdown of Idle Research. Idle Research earns an 80% in idle level. This game fundamentally follows the true definition of an idle game. No matter where you are, no matter what you're doing in the game, you can idle and progress. You could start a brand new fresh account and leave it for a year and you'd still make progress. Your attention is only required to improve efficiency and to avoid wait times like these. Every once in a while, you want to open up the game and buy your upgrades with the energy you have earned. After about 30 to 40 hours in the game, everything is completely automated and idle. You don't have to touch it for days because the next stage of progression is so far away. You can, of course, interact if you choose, and it will speed up your efficiency. However, you have the option to be completely idle. The only thing keeping Idle Research from a higher score is some features in the endgame are capped. In the endgame, you get capped in ice ages, forcing you to manually switch and interact within the game to reset and continue progressing and earning ice. This is of course entirely optional. You can progress without resetting to earn ice. However, this is a hard cap set in place to stop players from being as efficient as possible. This doesn't make the game better or worse. This is an intentional game design and I'm sure has been calculated with lots of complex math, but it is a simple fact. Besides that, the game requires very heavy attention for the first 5 to 10 hours like most idle games, but you can earn your automation abilities very early and it is a massive accomplishment that carries through for the rest of the game. Content level. Idle Research has a content level of 60%. This is a tough one for me to evaluate. On one hand, this game has entirely new game modes within the actual game, and let me make sure that's clear. Idle Research has entirely new game modes within the game that completely shift the content while still using the basic mechanics. At the moment, there are 2 game modes, Flasks, which is the game mode you start in, and Tubes, which is unlocked after you hit the beginning of the end game. Cylinders will be the 3rd game mode and is currently being developed, and I personally can't wait to see what's in store. If it's anything like Tubes, it's going to be a banger. The first game mode you can play, as I said, is the Flasks mode, and it's very much akin to something like Cookie Clicker. The flasks can be researched and bought to increase your energy output, allowing you to further increase your efficiency and progression. Once you hit mid-game, you unlock another game mode called Tubes. Tubes is kind of similar to something like Clicker Heroes, maybe? You need to create the most powerful tube you possibly can and battle it out against other tubes in combat to gain their energy. It's a really interesting twist that uses the same mechanics as Flasks, however adds new progression and entirely new gameplay. At the moment, these game modes are also entirely separate. Although you do need to reach a certain level in one game mode to unlock another game mode, they do not have cross progression. You could never touch the Tubes game mode ever, and it would not impact the original game mode, which is the Flasks game mode, at all. It is entirely your decision if you wish to embark on these new experiences. It is worth to note that switching between these game modes still allow you to progress in the others. So if you have an efficient setup, you could be progressing and idling in multiple different game modes at once, which I think is really cool. With that being said, 99% of this game can be beaten in about 150 hours of playtime. If you look at the Steam achievements, it tells us 2 things. 1, people love this game. 25% of the player base stick around until the end game. But 2, it's also really easy to beat and doesn't require much time investment. The hardest achievement in the game at the moment is unlocking Black Ice, and as you can see, very few people unlock it. From what the community says, it takes about 500 hours to achieve. This is likely the last thing most players will unlock before calling it quits and effectively beating the game. However, unlocking Black Ice really is just a flex, because it doesn't unlock anything or do anything special at the moment. Of course, as I said, this can change with time. White Ice is the second hardest achievement and is doable in about 100, maybe 150 hours of gameplay, and as you can see, almost 10% of the player base has it. Beating the game at the moment is not difficult and doesn't require that much time investment. However, to my knowledge, this game is being made by one person. 100 hours of content for a free idle game made by one guy is a fantastic achievement in and of itself. This is not a game studio, this is not a corporation, this is an indie title being made by one guy. On top of that, there's promise of regular updates and a new Cylinders game mode. With the more downloads this gets on Steam, the more achievements can be put in place to further increase the depth of the endgame. Right now, after about 150 hours of playing, there's no real reason to continue. Most people, including myself, will have beat the game or at least beat it to a level they are content with. Idle Research still offers a shocking amount of content with regular updates, but does understandably fall short content-wise to some of the competitors. Cash level. Idle Research earns a 10% in cash level. This game is entirely free to play, however, it does have a microtransaction shop called the Diamond Shop. First, let me say that the currency used in the Diamond Shop can be earned completely for free while playing the game. In fact, the Diamond Shop is often tied to progression. The more milestones you unlock, the more diamonds you get to spend in the Diamond Shop for absolutely free. However, there are some upgrades that you can pay real money for that give you an absolute advantage that is impossible for a free-to-play player to achieve. These include being able to speed up or slow down the game on command, making you able to produce energy up to 5 times the speed of a normal player. Ice Ages, as I mentioned, are capped, but there's another upgrade you can buy with real money that makes it a bit more manageable, as you get a flat amount of ice gain no matter what. To Idle Research's merit, This diamond shop is almost never advertised and is only there to support the developer. In fact, there are packages to donate where you don't even gain anything, they're just options to support the developer. This game earns a very low 10% because although there are microtransactions, they're literally never advertised. You'd have to go out of your way to find them. Additionally, they're not predatory packages. They offer something real and permanently increase your efficiency for a fair price if that's how you like to play. As I mentioned, at the moment, 99% of the game is beatable in about 150 hours, so it's up to you if you think it's worth it. Knowing that this is run by one guy who's in college, struggling with classes like the rest of us, it was nice to see that this is truly a passion project for him and not a cash grab. Hardware level, 100%. Idle Research is an incredibly smooth experience when it comes to an idle game and uses less memory than most of the programs you have running in the background of your computer anyway. That being said, I am a PC player. If you play on mobile, please comment down below how the performance works because I don't have a way to record that or judge that myself, so your feedback is actually very valuable. Granted, the performance is probably so high because there isn't much visual clutter or 3D animations to begin with. Idle Research also has an AFK mode, which can be switched on to lower FPS and the memory allocated even further. This is completely unnecessary as the game runs extremely well as it is, but if you have a slower computer and struggle to run something in the background, this will be a welcome addition for you. I really don't have anything more to say about the hardware. I would be floored if you ever found or noticed this game was even running while having it on in the background. Overall, Idle Research is a true idle game at heart. It has many content layers of incremental gameplay, so you're always feeling like you're building towards something new. The upgrades feel impactful and worthwhile, and overall makes the game extremely addictive. As I said, if you look at the Steam achievements, you can see how long players stick around for. I've never played an idle game before where the achievements I'm getting near the end of the game, 10 to 20% of the player base already have. People love this game and clearly play it until there's not much left of it. For a free idle game being developed by one person, this is a fantastic experience and on par with some of the other big titles out there. With regular content updates adding entire new game modes to the title, I can't wait to see what's in store for Idle Research around the corner. Thank you so much for watching this review on Idle Research. I hope you learned something new, and if you did, make sure to drop a like. If you want to suggest new idle games for me to play, make sure to also comment those down below, and I'll make sure to take a look. If you want to learn more about the top idle games before you play them, make sure to subscribe and stick around to watch my Should You Idle series. Thanks again for watching if you stuck around for this long, and I hope to see you in the next one.